I love some of these passages in John because Jesus just makes these massive claims for himself. And sometimes people ask, oh, well, where does Jesus claim that he's God in the Gospels? And when you just read some of these passages in John, it just is so clearly obvious the way that Jesus thinks of himself. And the thing about Jesus is he's got this unbelievable humility in his actions. So in his actions, he's always serving other people. And in his words, he's always pointing to himself. And those two things don't usually go together. Often people either they serve other people and they don't talk about themselves, or they talk about themselves a lot and they don't serve other people. And Jesus serves others and cares for others with incredible humility, but at the same time makes massive, massive statements about himself. And in his defense to the Pharisees, the Jewish leaders are kind of criticizing of the fact that he's healed somebody on the Sabbath. And his defense, I love it. It winds them up even more. So he says, my Father is always at his work to this very day, and I too am working. For this reason they try all the more to kill him. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own Father, making himself equal with God. Hear that. Jesus was making himself equal with God because he understood himself to be God. And then he goes on and he talks about the sort of power that he has been entrusted with. He says that I have life in and of myself, that I have, in my very being, life, and that one day all those who have died will hear my voice, and when they hear my voice, they will rise again, and they will be judged by me. I mean, that's just huge, isn't it, for someone to say that? And yeah, although we will never ever, be Jesus, we're called to operate and to live like him. And one of the things that he says that's really interesting, he says in verse where is it? I only do what I see my Father doing, in verse 19. The Son only does what he sees his Father doing. Yesterday he went to the pool of Bethesda. We read about it. And that was effectively like a hospital. There was lots and lots of sick people there. And Jesus only heals one. He obviously saw that God wanted to heal this one particular guy. So he went up and he healed him. And for us, learning to see what the Father is doing is a great way of growing in our walk with God. So to wake up in the morning and to say to the Lord, Lord, what are you wanting me to do today? Who are you already working on? Where have you already begun to stir something up? I want to go in and join in with that. Often, if I'm in a prayer meeting or a worship meeting, what I'll do is I'll look around and I'll try and see what God's already up to. So I'll see the people that the Holy Spirit is already resting on. Sometimes I get it wrong, but I'll try and see the people the Holy Spirit's resting on, and then I'll just go and join in with what God is already doing. Because that way, I look quite good because suddenly, the Holy Spirit's resting on. What people don't know is he was already doing that before I got there, and I just went and joined in. It's about learning to spot what God is doing around us in the everyday. And as we do that, we become more and more effective.